So we don't have a product issue. We've proven this. Most of us could sing at that level, and we could even sing that song. So we don't have a product issue. People love Barbershop. Some just don't know it yet. And we've shown that the big concepts here are things that are familiar and very approachable. Super simple songs, wearing everyday clothes, standing around, etc. Okay, so now that we know the most effective way for people to experience our music, what is the most effective way to encourage people to be a part of it? So this is another concept. I try to do things conceptually so that things are not prescriptive, that this is the only way to do it. But I can tell you that there are things that are more effective than other things. And if we can discern why certain things are more effective than others and turn it into a concept, then it really doesn't matter what approach you take. You know how effective it's likely to be compared to the other options. All right, so along the right, knowing that there's all kinds of other things that could exist, I think can we all agree, I should say, that a face-to-face conversation is generally more effective than a phone conversation, which is more effective than a handwritten letter. How many of you received a handwritten letter in the last 5 years? I mean, that's a pretty uncommon thing, but I bet you anything you remember who it's from. A personalized letter, Dear Paul. Mass mailer, Dear Resident. And I have all kinds of data that know beyond a shadow of a doubt that doing nothing has no effect. Oops, I just gave away the... So the thing is that I'd like us to think about what is it that makes the things, and there's all other kinds of things that we could put in there. You could put something on Facebook, you could do any number of things. But what is the concept? What are the things, what makes the things at the top more effective than the things towards the bottom? Virtually everyone gets, there's two aspects. Virtually everyone gets the second most important thing. And what is it? Go ahead and either unmute or throw it in chat. And Lynn will read it off. What are the things why are things more effective at the top than towards the bottom?
It's harder to say no face to face.
Yeah, it is. And I guess the question is, why is that? We've proven that it is true, but the question is, why is it true?
People run out of excuses when you're face to face compared to being over the phone or letter.
That's true too. Yeah. Anybody else? I'm gonna be surprised if nobody gets either of them. Go ahead.
People don't want to reject you to your face. They don't want you to be disappointed.
You're on the right track.
I'm actually not sure that's a positive aspect of it.
Sure. I think what it is
it's a personal touch. One-on-one, personal touch.
That is the answer. Everybody was on that path, but that is the answer, Rich. And Rich.
Dave Schmatter said, see the reaction and interact personally.
Yeah, personal, right? Personal. That's exactly right. The more personal the approach is, I mean, if you're going to invite something that feels like family to you, I think that have never been to your chorus or your rehearsal or your practice, it's always going to be more effective if you do it in a more personal way.
Judy says, people want to be wanted.
Amen. I love Judy. So that is the second aspect. The first aspect, if you look at the things more at the top than the things at the bottom, I'll give you can reverse engineer this, everybody. If you look at the very last thing on this list on the right, it will give you the answer as to why the thing at the top is more effective. And this is the most important aspect. If you do nothing, you're sedentary. If you do something, you're active. So the more active your approach and personal, the better. The more active and personal, in that order. Now I'm going to tell you, and I mean this in a positive way. The USA Today at the time had over 1 million subscribers to the newspaper, the USA Today. And the Barbershop Harmony Society took out a full page ad, full page. And, oh, by the way, in color, and had a phone number for people to call, had gone through all kinds of vetting, and it had people just showing the people having successes on the convention stages, etc. And everybody's like, this shows energy. It's awesome. Let's do this. So they sent this out, and if there's 1 million subscribers, then I'm guessing that at least 2 million people saw it, because it's not like, oh, my paper, no one else can look at it. So let's just assume that 2 million people saw it. And they tracked, because they had the phone number, and they could tell where people were calling from, what time they were calling. So, and all these other things. And over the several weeks, because people don't call right away, they call over the next several weeks. From what I understand, guess how many, put it in the chat, get ready in the chat, get ready in the chat, get ready. Put in the chat, how many people do you think responded, not even that joined, just how many responded by calling the number? How many out of 2 million people, let's say? Out of 2 million people. Go ahead, Lynn.
Rich says the 1%. Samuel Ramos says 100. Clarksburg says 4%. Less than 500. Del Schwander says. Phil says with rounding, question mark.
Yeah, with rounding, sure, with rounding.
Matt Moody says 15%.
Love it. Okay, so 10% would be 200,000. So 15% would be about 300,000 with rounding. And I'm going to tell you, if we were playing The Price is Right, we would hear because everyone overbid. What was our lowest number, Lynn?
Wow. Our lowest number is 1%.
1% would be 10,000, I think. So our no.
Our lowest
1%
number actually is 100.
100. So still, everyone's too high.
Keystone says
Forest
0.
says 0. Keystone,
Yeah,
says
Keystone
0.
says
Okay, that was the smart move, right? That's the smart move. That's game theory right there. The answer is 17.
Wow.
17 people called. Out of the 17 people that called, guess how many joined? With rounding, 0. Now, some people asked, how much did that cost to do? From what I understand, $100,000. Now, I'm not saying that to say that we shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying I'm actually proud of the fact that we tried something. It didn't work, but that's okay. But what if we put that approach up to how active and how personal is that? How would it score? Well, is it active? No, active is different than expensive, right? So active is we paid someone to go out and communicate with others. Now, how personal was it? You know, exactly right, Rich. Not very personal. And so it did actually not even as effective as a mass mailer or an advertisement. It was as effective, almost, so somewhere between mass mailer and doing nothing. But
There's a question from Harrison Keystone Course. Where does social media video, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok fit into the effectiveness list when it doesn't go viral?
yeah, so it's definitely not at the top, but probably not at the bottom. So maybe personalized letter, maybe just above that, because you can interact on those platforms. But we're going to focus more on the more effective things, the more active and personal things. Can you do other things? Yes. Am I saying that of the things that we're going to cover today, that there are no other things that you can do to grow your chorus? No. I'm just sharing with this concept that there are things before you start that are going to be more effective than others. Wouldn't it be nice to know before you started how effective you potentially will be? That's the point. Harrison, thank you so much for your question. All right, there is one that actually, it's a social media thing that kind of in a neat way taps into this more personal, because people are looking for personal, and it's called Meetup. I'm sure most of us have heard of it, and that's just a neat thing because people are looking for something that's personal because they want to meet up with somebody, and this is one of the options. So some people, I wouldn't say it's been crazy effective, but it has had some effect. Here we go. All right. How are we doing on time? Great. Because we'll take a break after this. Now, I'm really good at playing Simon Says when I'm Simon. I get asked sometimes for kids, even adults. So we're going to play a little bit of Simon Says. Simon Says, everybody raise a hand. Simon Says, everybody raise a hand. Perfect. Simon Says, keep your hand up. Now, Simon Says, you may put your hand down if you began your journey into barbershop because someone personally invited you to attend a chapter meeting, a rehearsal, a show, a sing out, etc. Simon Says, you can lower your hand if that's you. Okay. Here's the thing. Now, I can't see everybody, but this has been proven to be true. Keep those of you who are still in, keep your hands up. 70%. It has always been the case. 70% of you will have your hands down now. All right. Now, Simon Says, those of you with your hands still up may now put your hand down if you began your journey into barbershop because you heard the music and said, I have to be a part of that. And then pursued that interest by asking someone, getting online, responding to an ad, etc. Awesome. The vast majority of you will have your hands down. Lynn, can you see everybody else or no?
Yeah.
Okay. How many
My
people
hand's
have
still
their
up.
hands down?
We have 1, 2, 4, 3 of us with our hands still up.
Okay. Lynn, how did you come in? Simon Says the rest of you may put your hands down. How did you come into barbershop?
I saw a sign, ladies want to sing, and I did.
Had you ever heard barbershop before?
I had never heard barbershop in my
Okay.
life. Yeah.
Awesome. And can we have either of the other two pop on and give their quick story? If you're available. Anybody?
Brad is
Okay.
unmuted. I don't know if he's wanting to. If you had your hand still up, please go ahead and unmute and speak.
Yeah, I had lost the capability of playing my guitar, and I knew that I wanted to continue singing, so I heard about the group and decided to go try them out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Had you ever heard barbershop before?
Not really.
Had you heard choruses before?
Yes.
Did you like that?
Yes.
Okay. So, if you heard the music before, just call it chorus, and said, wow, I can't do what I'm doing. I would like to be a part of that. So I'm not trying to funnel you, but you had a positive perspective on us singing, and then you saw this. So a lot of people just don't go, I have no idea what it, not everybody's like Lynn, like, I don't know what this is. I'm just going to go for it, right? And anybody else, Lynn, I love you for that, though. Anybody else? Do we have one more? 3, 2, 1, moving on. So here's the thing. We have just shown that the most effective ways that people
There's
join. Oh, go ahead.
I saw an ad in the newspaper. Was Bill Ray, and Keystone says this course group says 3 folks here got a mass mailing and or their wives pushed them.
They got personally invited by their wives.
And Bill Ray says, I saw an ad in the newspaper.
So my question would be to those people, because I've played this game so many times. And here's one that I love is when someone still has their hand out and they said, well, how did you come into Barbershop? Well, my mom and dad were in it, and then they, said, hey, why don't you come along? And I liked it. Please note that growing up in Barbershop or having family members in Barbershop would clearly put you in the personally invited or having heard the music. So the point is that we've shown the 2 most effective ways that people begin their journey into Barbershop. And that is hearing the music and being personally invited. That's the biggest thing that we have going for us. Agreed? So if we have those 2 things, that we're aware of those 2 things, we should capitalize on this. So our 2 keys to growth are personally invite people and allow them to hear our music. Marketing 101 says if we should do one of those things almost all the time. Marketing 102 says we should do both of them at the same time. So, like beer commercials, they say that people like dogs, or they have people that like trucks. They'll probably make a commercial with dogs driving trucks. That'll get people watching it. So we try to do both things at the same time.